It started off in 2009 when I found out I was pregnant with him. I was in school at the time, graduating high school. My mom told me to go to get an abortion, and I told her that I didn't want to get an abortion.
When I had found out that I was pregnant, I was actually pretty happy. I had always wanted a child, and this was my moment. And then I realized very quickly that, it wasn't going to be easy, and I didn't have the support of my mother, being that she had passed away so recently.
I found out I was like 7 weeks pregnant at the time. A while ago, I was feeling very depressed, sad, lonely, and I didn't know what to do, where to go. I was actually being pressured by my boyfriend at the time to go ahead and have an abortion, which was pretty much the only choice that I had at that time. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have family here at the time, so I didn't have anyone to talk to about it.
Back in 1978, my mom and I used to own and operate a business that had to do with abortion. It was a clinic that we thought back then that would bring help to women that were facing an unwanted pregnancy, and we felt that it might be a solution for them.
On a Thursday afternoon, I had spoken to the doctor that was going to do the procedure. Then I went on Friday again. I wanted to see where they were going to actually put her in. I was actually a jar where they were supposed to put her pieces after I had the abortion process done.
I asked for an appointment the same day. I remember just driving to work and just crying out to God. I was sobbing and I told God, I'm sorry, I can't do this right now. I just feel so alone. I don't have the support, I don't have the means, the finances. I just can't do this right now. I can't do this alone. I remember grabbing onto my belly and telling my baby, please forgive me for what I'm about to do to you.
It didn't really bring any solutions because I experienced getting pregnant while I worked in that business. And when I was faced with the reality of my pregnancy, I really wanted to have my baby. That was my heart's desire. But back in the day, they didn't have ultrasound that would allow me to see the heartbeat that was growing inside.
I believe life begins at conception. And to me, and by definition, conception is when the sperm meets the egg. At the time that the two meet, it is beginning to divide. The cells divide regardless actually of the mother. It takes time for that conception where that whole egg with the sperm in it travels down the fallopian tube until it implants in the uterus to get the mom's blood flow. It's already dividing, it's already growing, it's alive. If you look at a plant, you plant a seed, once you give it water, it starts to divide and grow. It's alive.
I keep this on my lapel because these are the exact footprints of a 10-week-old unborn baby. 1 out of 2 African American pregnancies ends up in abortion. 1 out of 3 Hispanic pregnancies ends up in abortions. Even though African Americans and Hispanics are a minority, we form a majority of the abortions taking place in the United States.
They laid me down and they put an IV in my arm. I remember just looking around and just shaking my head, just saying no. I didn't want to go through with it. I tried to lift my head a couple times, and one of the assistants actually came over and put her hands on my head and pushed my head back and said, you need to stop moving. You can't move right now.
Everybody around me told me, Jeannie, you need to finish school. You can have the abortion right here. I mean, we have the clinic. After many, many days of feeling distraught, not sleeping, not eating, I succumbed to the pressures around me. The pressures of my boyfriend, the pressures of the doctors, and I went ahead and made the decision to abort the baby.
At the time, I knew that I wanted to become a doctor, and really to me, OBGYN was the last thing from my mind. Until one day my mother, I don't even remember what the circumstances were that made her tell me, but my mother told me that I was supposed to have been an abortion. I was not supposed to be here, and that I was only here because of her fight for me and her love for me.
I was actually very depressed after I aborted. For months, I just couldn't get over it. And even now, I still feel the pain of aborting my child. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
I don't regret it because I'm so thankful to God that I did not have the abortion that day, but I thank Heartbeat of Miami Pregnancy Health Medical Clinic that I was actually able to get someone to hear me and tell me that it was okay, someone to tell me that, you know, we're here for you, someone to give me counsel, someone to listen to me, because I was going through so many, you know, emotions. You know, I was forced to, you know, practically to, you know, not make my own decisions, you know, with my own body.
I went to the Pregnancy Health Medical Clinic and I told Lourdes to let me see my baby, and she let me see him. I heard his heartbeat, and after that I just was like, no, I can't do it.
Since 1973, when Roe versus Wade was approved, when abortion became legal in our country, over 56 million babies have been aborted. A woman with an unplanned or unwanted pregnancy needs support, needs some type of counseling. They need the education so that they can make an informed decision. And it is my opinion that many women are not receiving all of the options that they truly have.
Immediately after I did that, I knew in my heart that I had made a mistake. And all I wanted more than life was to have a baby. The truth is, after 6 weeks, I got pregnant and I told no one. And I kept my secret. My baby was born. I broke up with the baby's father. I remarried. I had 2 more children. And then in 2006, I met a pastor that had come to my church. The reverend came to the church to talk about the amount of abortions that were being performed in the city of Miami. So at the end of the service, very distraught and very broken, I told him that I had once owned and operated an abortion center, and that perhaps mine was the first in the city that now had 7. He asked me if I would be a part of what he wanted to do in the city, if I would be willing to join him and open up real pregnancy help centers, and I said, of course I would.
I had a change of heart, so I went home. I told my mom that I didn't want to get abortion anymore. So after that, she told me I can do what I want, but she advised me to get an abortion because I was still in school. It was going to be too hard for me to keep a baby. And I just had a change of heart, and I told her I couldn't do it. So now I'm here with my son Dane. He's an amazing boy. He's bad. They boys do what they do, and they rough sometimes. But at the end of the day, I love my baby, and I don't regret getting rid of him at all.
When Xavier had approached me on the issue of abortion and asked me for my opinion, for myself, I know that I could never go through with an abortion. But I know that there are people out there that have different circumstances, and I know that that's why abortion is so controversial.
A few years ago, I directed a play that had a scene of an abortion, and it was quite powerful because it was a teenager. But in the middle of the surgery, the teenager, although she was under sedatives and a little bit drugged out, she actually wanted to keep her baby. She was fighting with the nurses and the doctors to try to keep her baby. And with the stress and there was so much blood loss, she actually loses her life in the middle of the abortion. A couple of months later, we get a visit from a woman who was at the play. She was in the audience, and she had seen that scene. And she actually brought in a stroller with her baby, and she showed us her baby, and she told us that she had an appointment with a doctor that week, the week that she saw the play. And she chose not to have an abortion. She realized how valuable life is, and she kept her baby.
After reading the script and knowing really what this whole story was about, it's about the message. And I know that I want to do my part in making sure that this film can be seen across the world. We need to make sure that we can get the message out there for women to know that there is help and that there are people out there that want to be there for them and that can help them out.
We need $13,000. And you say, why? Why so much money? It takes so much money to make a film and make a film well. We need to, first of all, feed our cast and crew. They need to be well fed for all the days that we're going to be shooting. But we also want to hire a great group of actors. The scenes that are in this script require intense performances. We also want to rent the Red camera, which is a new high-end camera that all the independent filmmakers are using. We want to rent out grip equipment, lighting equipment, so that we have a beautiful production look. Money's gonna go to editing. Money's gonna go to the distribution. Being able to show this film in different film festivals all over the country is actually pretty expensive. We need your help. We have perks. If you give $10, we'll give you a movie poster of our film. If you give $30, you'll get the poster, a wristband. If you give $500, you'll be an extra on the film, and even see your name on the credits. Every dollar that you donate is gonna help us push a message that's gonna help people rediscover the value of life.